Hello? Trayce. Yeah. We at Dub Nation, we've been expecting your call. Absolutely. Okay. We'll see you in the starting lineup soon. All right, one. Like I'm from the East Coast. Trayce Jackson Davis, y'all. I know we've been waiting. Right? And oh man. Just when you think it's over. NBA. Nah, I don't want to get ahead of myself here. Yeah, man. You know, I guess the biggest thing that I want to point out about Trayce Jackson Davis is having a rim protector, a guy that you know can actually go up and block shots. It defines the rotation so much better. How many times do you watch the Warriors overhelp, right? The little Steph, CP, they're down there. We all got to help. We don't know what to do, right? And on that huge block against Jaylen Brown, Steph just goes, hey, go get it, right? When you have a rim protector, it help defines the rotations. You know he's the one contesting. He's the low man rotating to the rim every time, right? But then I think even more excitingly, I won't say that because rim protection I think is, our biggest need right now. Did you see what they discovered with the double drag screens with Trayce and Klay and Steph in the pick and roll? I'm sure they'll run it with CP as well, but all of a sudden you have this vertical spacer, right? And Klay, he got a wide open three on Horford. I highlighted it in today's breakdown where Klay slips out of it for the shot, right? And Trayce rolls. And typically, if that's Draymond or Looney, the big is going to kind of hedge out on Klay and take the three ball away. And we have to make a pocket pass to Looney or Draymond. And then usually the offensive set has to kind of restart. They're like, oh, I can't finish it in time. And so then we got to run something else. And now you've got to pick your poison. Are you going to give Klay a good look, or are you going to let Trayce finish at the rim with authority, right? And you saw he and Klay already kind of have some sort of timing and flow in that like side pick and roll action there. He made the short roll dish to Corey Joe, who gave us a little bit of emergency minutes last night, right? Just wait till they really get the timing down, right? It's so exciting to all of a sudden have this presence and what it can do on both ends of the court, right? Staying on the offensive side and the pick and roll stuff, I think he just provides such a bigger window than Loon, right? And it's not just about a lob, right? It's just overall, he's able to get to different passes that Looney's not able to, and then he's able to finish in a tighter window, right? It's almost like if you're the quarterback of the Niners, right, and you're throwing screen passes to Trent Taylor, and then all of a sudden you're throwing screen passes to Debo and CMC. It just opens up things. You don't have to be perfect with the pass. The window doesn't have to be huge. You can still make plays out of it. And then maybe more importantly, the threat of him, the threat of having to tag down and having that vertical spacing. And the combination of he and Kuminga last night, man, we just looked like a different team. I know a lot is being made about the Celtics shooting 58 threes. Maybe it's a coincidence. I know that this has been a problem for the Celtics, their shot selection, but perhaps some of it was the fact that we had those two big live active bodies contesting everything at the rim. Now, I know the big block on Brown is going to get the headlines and the highlights, but did you see at the end of the half, he switched on to Tatum and swallowed up a three ball. He looks like he will be able to switch when they need to do it. Defensive versatility and defining roles. So important moving forward. So important. Now, as exciting as it is for Trayce to emerge here and get his opportunity, maybe more importantly is the step that Kuminga looks like he's in the process of taking. He's finally getting his opportunity, and I'm not even trying to throw shade at Draymond at this, but in my small sample size observation, it sure seems like he is empowered without Draymond out there. He knows he's probably getting a little more minutes, more opportunity. He's rebounding more, right? It's like, hey, I'll be able to grab and go and do what I want more, so I'm going to go fight for the ball more. And then you saw the defensive stops on Tatum. Now, Tatum, granted, he didn't look like he wanted to attack much off that ankle once he tweaked that ankle, but something that has plagued Kuminga his first few seasons in the league, we know he has all the attributes in the world, right? But he was too handsy defensively. And you see it with young players very often where their hands tend to move before their feet. And that's where you get in trouble. And you saw it all night last night, but specifically on that that possession to end regulation where he smothered Tatum out, contested with the right, then contested with the left. But he was able to crowd him, get into his airspace, but he didn't get too handsy. His feet moved in sync with his hands, and he kind of framed him and distance managed perfectly. And yeah, man, did you see Steph? Did you see Steph? Right? He's like, sometimes I've heard people refer to the David Lee Draymond situation. Remember, D. Lee got a tooth in his elbow, and Draymond got the start, never looked back. Have we come full circle? Wouldn't it be ironic if that's what ended up happening to Draymond? Because right now, Kuminga doesn't look like he has any plans of relinquishing this new role that he is grasping, right? And it's super exciting, man. Klay, continue. What I tell you, remember I said, I don't want to get carried away here, but that outburst, I was like, it didn't look like one night to me. It looked like he's made some changes in his mentality. And sure enough, to me, it looks like the weight has been lifted off his shoulders. He's no longer pressing, right? And the shots are easy. He's releasing them easy, and he's going to get better shots with the vertical spacing we have with Kuminga. What are we going to call these boys, right? With Kuminga, Podziemski, and Trayce out there, those young active bodies change the game for the vets, right? And it's going to get Klay better shots, and he's just letting it go easy. He's letting the game come to him all of a sudden, man. And then it's probably not fair of me to not bring up the chef and the heroics at the end of the game, right? You take it for granted. You take it for granted, right? At Boston, it doesn't matter if it's Mazzulla or Ime. They haven't learned you cannot switch Al Horford onto Steph Curry, fam. Like, what are you doing, right? But I just think that, we were so doom and gloom a week ago, and I hinted, hey, what if we go on a little win streak? How quickly things change. And when you look at the momentum and confidence that these young guys are building, Podziemski looks like he's going to be all right. That was a scary fall because he's the type of kid and the type of player, when he goes down like that, you take heed, like you're concerned, right? Certain kids, like you learn this coaching. Certain kids, they go down 5 times a game. They're dramatic, and you at a certain point, you realize, like, just get up, bro, right? When someone like Podziemski goes down like that, you're like, oh, dang, because they're not dramatic for injuries. They're going to try to shake it off. But he looks like he's going to be all right, right? Young, back tweaks can be very fickle. But I think when you look at the emergence of Kuminga, Trayce Jackson, Podziemski, Moody quietly playing very well, and they can build on that confidence with more opportunity, not only does it just help the team overall, but what it is going to do is it's going to infuse more belief into Steph, into Klay, into CP. Right. And that at this stage in their career, they need that belief. It's important. And so I think it could become a snowball effect. You see how excited I am. Again, I don't want to get carried away. I get it. Porzingis was out, this and that. They missed some shots at the end. Hey, that's the league. That's the league. We could point to half of our losses and say some shit like that. So I'm going to take a win where I can take it. And what is that? 3 in a row? I don't see why it can't be 5, 6, 7 in a row as they build this momentum and climb back to where I think we all expected them to be. Last but not least, hey, I got to give Steve Kerr credit. You got to give Steve Kerr credit. We've been on his neck, these rotations, and I'm sure there's a part of him watching Trayce last night that felt foolish, right? Like, dang, like a little late on that, right? But what's the saying? Better late than never. And so if Kerr's going to make these adjustments and continue to start to trust the youth more, as Steph and Klay do. That's the other thing with Kuminga. He's playing within the flow of the offense, but when the play, you'll watch a set. He'll understand this is for Steph, this is for Klay. But when the defense takes it away, go to work, kid. Go to work. And that's what he's doing. And so, yeah, man, I don't think, Dub Nation, you can be over-optimistic or overexcited right now. You have the right to be, because it does seem like things have changed drastically for the positive, whether you know who is in the mix or not. And yes, we still need probably some more size. The roster still is unbalanced towards guards. Like, what do you do when GP2 comes back, right? But they're headed in the right direction, I think, with a ceiling that looks a lot higher than it did 2 weeks ago. As always, hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.